We've got a lot to cover in the next 30 minutes. I want to make sure that we get through everything that we're trying to get through today. Um, my name is Matt Harrell, and I am one of the co-founders here at MemberHub. I'm also a PTA board member, so I've served on my local elementary school PTA board for 3 years now, and also Avery Roberts is here as well. She's silently supporting me here in the background. She is our customer success manager. She's also I would call her an official PTA guru. She served as a PTA president at her elementary school and has been very, very active and involved in the PTA. So we have been building MemberHub for a number of years, guys, helping parents and teachers connect. But what we now have in store for PTAs and the partnerships that we're putting together with state levels PTAs is just really amazing. So I'm really excited to share with you guys from both as a business owner perspective, but more importantly, as an engaged parent. We've got many more years of public school ahead of us with my two children who are 10 and 7, and just the idea of those schools in my area continuing to use MemberHub is just great and excites me. So I can't wait to share with you what MemberHub is, what it does, what this partnership's about. We've got about 30 minutes together, so we're going to talk about what MemberHub is. We're going to take a tour of MemberHub, and then talk about the partnership. What does this mean? Some of your current processes and future processes as a PTA leader at the local unit level, and then talk about next steps. So does this sound familiar to you guys? As a PTA, we are using a cobbled together set of tools to manage communication, right? I mean, I've spoken with a lot of PTAs. I've been in many PTA meetings, right? We're using a Google Calendar, Yahoo Groups, or Google Groups, Sign Up Genius, Dropbox, MailChimp. I mean, we've got 5 to 7 different disconnected software tools to manage all of our communication and all of our volunteerism. And year after year, those tools change, right? The leaders come in and change up the system. And teachers are using one thing, and parents are using another, and administrators are using something. And so it's just, it's unwieldy, right? And unfortunately, what it causes is a lot of confusion. It causes us to have too many logins. And a lot of times it results in, as leaders, PTA leaders ourselves, right? We're trying to get parents to volunteer. And sometimes it's just confusing, right? We're using too many different disconnected set of platforms. So what is MemberHub? MemberHub combines all the tools that you're already using to manage your communication and puts them all into one place. And then we are layering on top of that for PTAs things like your PTA dues and managing PTA officers and financial reviews and Form 990s, things that you have to do to manage your PTA, but then also payments and fundraising and email, text messaging, volunteers, membership cards, calendar, school directory, all in one place. So we've got a lot of features in MemberHub, and we've got a really, really big vision for everything that MemberHub can do now and what it can do to really, not just give you guys a tool to be more productive, but ultimately to really change the PTA and really enhance what the PTA is doing and providing more value to parents all across the state of Michigan, right? So there's a lot of bullet points on this slide, but this just kind of gives you a quick idea. I kind of mentioned this on the last slide, right? I mean, payments, we've got newsletters, volunteer signups, text messages, reminders, calendar and social media feeds, sharing photos, and we've got a free iPhone and Android app. We're integrated with a platform called Teacher Lists for classroom supplies. And then, let's see, sorry about that. And then the ones here in orange are specific to PTA, right? Creating a directory that automatically syncs with the Michigan State database. PTA dues collecting your PTA dues at the local level for you online, right? Giving you the ability to add and edit your PTA members and your officers right in your MemberHub site. And then we also embed in the Michigan PTA Facebook feed in MemberHub. And we're going to take a look at all that in a minute here. So what are the goals of our partnership. First and foremost, we are giving a free MemberHub site to every single Michigan PTA unit. So if you, and this is, most of you guys are officers from your school PTA, you're going to have your own free MemberHub site. We're going to look at J.Y. Joyner Elementary's. We're going to look at their PTA site, MemberHub site, in just a minute. That's where my children go to school. What are some of the other goals of our partnership here? We want to grow your PTA membership, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the PTA is an association that needs to grow its members, and that's certainly a worthy goal for our partnership. We also want to simplify the dues management and the standards of affiliation at the local level. So we want to help you guys worry less about managing the process of dues and membership and standards of affiliation, and try to automate that as much as possible so you can get back to what you really need to be doing, which is communicating and advocating and getting more parent involvement at your classroom. I mean, in your school. We also want to help you raise more money. We are working on a fundraising platform inside of MemberHub called Sponsor Share, which will be a way for PTAs to raise money at the local level. We're going to talk about that as well. And then lastly, we want to build school community, right? Increase parent engagement and parent involvement at your school. So those are the goals of the partnership between the Michigan PTA and MemberHub. I was sitting here just looking at Avery, and I failed to mention, guys, at the beginning of this webinar, I know there's some questions that you guys are all going to have. Feel free to ask questions in the GoTo webinar control panel. Avery's going to do her best to answer those questions real time. If she cannot answer your question right now, we have all of your information from when you registered for MemberHub. for the webinar. So we will get back to you. So feel free to, again, ask questions in the GoTo webinar control panel, or leave it and we'll get back to you through email. We will not leave time at the end of today to kind of ask questions live. Okay, let's get into the demo. So my children both attend Joyner Elementary School here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So Joyner and a handful of other schools locally have used the MemberHub for years. Since that time, we actually formed a partnership with the North Carolina PTA. So the North Carolina PTA has gone just before the Michigan PTA in its rollout of MemberHub to every single PTA in the state. So we're going to take a dive into Joyner and take a look around at what MemberHub is. So let's do that. Great. So this is MemberHub. This is Joyner Elementary's MemberHub site. You can see up here, I'm logged in as myself, right? And we're logged into jyj.memberhub.com. So JYJ is our little short acronym for our school. Again, your school will have its own MemberHub site. So, monroeelementary.memberhub.com or some sort of acronym. You'll each have your own MemberHub site where you can customize the colors and your logo. Up top here, one of the things before I get into any of the features to note is that MemberHub is 100% private and secure. Hold on let's see here. Someone has just made a comment that the audio is not working.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so we're good. Thanks, Will. Okay, so back to this. This is the MemberHub site for Joyner. Again, 100% private and secure. No one can get into your MemberHub site unless they're added by an administrator. And it's all secure using SSL technology. So this is the dashboard. This is where you immediately land when you log into MemberHub. And you'll see if I click on your hubs up here, the concept of MemberHub is that a school creates a hub for a hub, I should say, is like a Google group on steroids, right? So in an elementary school, we have hubs for classrooms, for grades, for the entire school, for PTA committees, for the PTA board, whatever you want. And you go in and out of these hubs and manage your communications at that various level. So it allows you to communicate at the school level, grade level, classroom level, committee level, anything you want, sports, extracurricular, things like that. So we're going to take a look at that, what goes on inside of a hub in just a minute here. A couple things to note on the dashboard. This is an activity feed across all of the hubs that you're a member of. So I can filter that just to see messages that have gone through, events that have gone through, files, photos, signups, whiteboards. These are also customizable over here. I can go and we've embedded our Twitter feed for the Joiner PTA right in MemberHub site. I can link out to the PTA website. We're also integrated with that classroom supply list called teacher lists. So people can come in here, find their classroom supply list, dig down into their grade level, and order their classroom supplies right from here. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and go down into a hub. So this year, my son was in first grade, and he was in Miss Jepson's classroom. So I want to go down into Miss Jepson's hub. Okay, so this is Miss Jepson's private classroom hub. So there's, I don't know, almost 1,000 people maybe in the entire MemberHub site for JY Joiner Elementary. But in here, we're only communicating with the 28 families that are in this classroom. So I can, this is any communication that happens inside of MemberHub happens, I mean, in this hub is only going to the 28 families that are in here. So I can come in here, I can create a new message, right, by clicking the new message button, and I have open rates. I can even say I want this message to only go to certain people or everyone in the hub, so I can manage communications for everyone in the hub or just certain people. Every hub has its own calendar, so I can come in here and put an event on this calendar just for this classroom and automatically have it send reminders to everyone automatically via email and text message. There's a section for files in here. So Miss Jepson, she was really good about she liked to do her newsletters in Word documents. So she would put it in a Word doc. She'd come in here, click upload file, and we'd get a notification saying, hey, Miss Jepson just uploaded a new newsletter. Click here to access the file, and we could open the file right on our phone and read it. Pretty straightforward. And of course, all the past newsletters were in the file section. There's also a way to share photos. There's also a collaborative feature called whiteboards. Whiteboards are sort of like wikis, right? So like, imagine having a whiteboard in the room and all the parents have a pen and anyone can come and write on it. And then every time it does that, it saves a version. That's sort of what this is. It's sort of like a wiki, sort of like Google Doc, sort of functionality. So it's not like email intensive. It's more of, I've got some in our hub, we can go and write on it. And then of course, signups. A very crucial part to MemberHub. I'm sure plenty of you have used tools like Sign Up Genius or Volunteer Spot, things like that. This is our feature that allows you to manage your volunteers. So, in Miss Jepson's hub, we had the end of year party, right? And so here's was the sign up form for that. And you can see people had to bring $5 towards the cost of pizza. We needed grapes, juice boxes, ice cream, M&Ms. Man, it sounds like a party. I didn't go to the end of year party for this, but you can see who's volunteering here, and then looks like everything's been taken, so that's cool. And then at the bottom, reminders are set to be delivered to you as follows. So you come in and you sign up to serve, and MemberHub automatically sends you a reminder saying, hey, don't forget, you said you were going to bring a regular size tub of vanilla ice cream tomorrow. And you can create as many of these signups as you want. And then there's hub settings which you can, change and adjust for every single hub. So we could dig down into these features and spend a lot of time in there, but that's not the purpose of today's webinar. Again, so there's all kinds of ways to communicate inside of a hub. Well, I could switch, if I wanted to, up to the first grade hub. And since all the first grade hubs, all the classroom hubs are underneath the first grade hub, if I go into the first grade hub, I can communicate with everyone in first grade, right? And likewise, I can go up to the Joiner hub and communicate with everyone in the entire school. Now is a good time to point out that there's different levels of administration. So every parent doesn't have the ability to just come in here and post a message to the entire school. That could be dangerous. So as you're setting up your MemberHub site, you can decide at the hub level who's an administrator and who's a regular member. But the point is that I am a member of these 15 hubs that I can switch in and out of. There's also the concept of join hubs. You want to talk about getting volunteers. When you create a new hub, you can say this is an open hub or this is a closed hub. If it's an open hub, then it'll show up on this list here. And what we do at Joiner is we say, okay, please go to click on join hubs and join any committee you want to join. So the Jaguar committee, the grounds committee, the 5K committee, the JYJ running club committee. And you can come in here and choose which hubs you want to be affiliated with. join that hub, and then it doesn't sign your name in blood, but you are there in that particular committee hub, and you're able to get correspondence about the volunteer opportunities going on for that group. I'm going to click on main calendar now. This is a huge feature, right? If I click on main calendar, I see a combined calendar of all the events across all of my particular hubs. So what does that mean? Let me slow down. I'm in 15 hubs. We're going to see in a minute, there's probably like 80 some hubs, I think, in the entire MemberHub site. I come to this combined calendar up here, and I see events across all of the classroom, of all the grade, all the hubs that I'm in. And then I can subscribe to this using the calendar feed. So I click that link, and it pulls up. Well, I'm not going to pull it up, but my personal calendar on my Mac here is automatically getting events from MemberHub being pushed onto my calendar. So I'm walking around with all the events on my personal computer and my phone. Also the directory, right? We're not going to go in there for personal information reasons, but the directory is there, your school directory. Search people by name, email address, it's all grouped into families, all very customizable. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. People can decide what information they want to share about it themselves. You as an administrator can decide what information people can see, or again, turn the whole thing off. Okay, so you see this little orange gear right here? The average parent doesn't see this. I see this because I'm a site-wide administrator for my MemberHub site. You guys, by default, will be site-wide administrators for your site. Let me repeat that. We're going to do an import, more on this in a little bit, but we're going to import everyone into MemberHub, and you're going to see this orange gear. And I'm going to speed it up a little bit, but I'm going to go into the admin console. I want to show you a few things. One, here's the hubs tab. Again, 84 hubs. I only see 15 that I'm a member of, but here's all the hubs across the entire MemberHub site for that school. The people tab, this is where you see all the people in your entire organization, right? You can add people here. You can see who the PTA members are. Our count's really low because we actually have a lot more than that, but Joiner was in between imports. Site joins tab, this is a thing you can set up to allow people to request to join your MemberHub site. A quick point of clarification, people can be in your MemberHub site, but not necessarily PTA members. So your MemberHub site is designed to manage all your school-wide communications and then also manage all of your dues and your PTA members. The PTA tab is where you guys will come in to add your officers, add members manually, do financial review confirmations, Form 990 confirmations. We're also going to do your bylaws in here, and we're still working through the details with Marcy and all this, but everything that you need to do for your standards of affiliation ultimately will end up being here in your PTA tab inside of your MemberHub site. So that's going to be a change. And then the money tab is where you come to set up like your dues and take care of payments and transactions. So like you can come in here and say, okay, here is where I put in my name of my school. Here's where I sell what I'm going to do. Joining the PTA. Here's where I specify what our amounts are for the membership types. And then this little address right here is the dues payment page. And you can put this link on your website or in an email, and then people can come and join online. And then we're working, this is going to be released soon too as well, payment requests for tickets or fundraising or whatever else you need. You can create a payment request for anything under the sun. And then all of that goes, as people pay online, all of that goes into the transactions table, which will allow you to see, someone paid someone, joined online, someone paid for a ticket event. You can download the transactions, and everything's going to be all here in MemberHub. And just note, in order for any of this to happen, you need to click on this merchant processing agreement form here. And one of the first things that you're going to do is this is going to be a form that's embedded from Heartland in your MemberHub site. And this is where you're going to have to submit that form. You're going to need your bank account information, your routing, and your checking account, and that will be a form that you'll use to submit your merchant processing agreement so that you can start taking credit card payments online. So I sped up there because I'm looking at the time and I'm realizing that I'm a little behind schedule. The whole idea was just to kind of whet your appetite on MemberHub and not to show you the whole thing. There's a lot to it, right? There's a lot of features in MemberHub, and over time you're gonna learn a lot more about it. We're gonna have more webinars for you guys to learn how to use the system and talk about getting started. Let's go back to the presentation here. So currently, what do you guys do, right? I mean, this is the big change here is that let's take, at your local unit, right? Parent joins the PTA, right? They pay by cash or check. So you get the check and the member information locally, right? Like on a piece of paper sometimes, right? Then you deposit that check at the bank, and then you're probably building an Excel spreadsheet of membership. So you're managing that, right? And then at some point you've got to cut the check to the state. So you kind of reconcile all that. Okay, well, we had 20 new members. Now we got to write a check to the state, and we got to get the check signed 2 times, right? Double signatures, and then the state receives the check, and they verify the amount's okay in the spreadsheet, and make sure everything looks hunky dory. That's what most PTA units are used to doing. Well, with MemberHub, it's basically automatic. I mean, a parent joins the PTA online at your MemberHub site with their credit or debit card. That member goes into MemberHub. They're flagged as a member. You guys will receive that money in your local checking account automatically. And this is the beautiful thing. The money that's owed to the state for that member automatically transfers to the state. You don't have to worry about that. So no more double signed checks. And listen, in a perfect world, like if everyone at your PTA joins your local PTA online and pays with credit or debit card, like you don't do a thing. It's all automatic. The state will get everything. You don't have to report anything. Everything's going to be automatic. Okay. Yep. And Avery's just telling me that some folks are having some trouble hearing on certain types of devices. I'm seeing that I have a decent connection.
Now, one person's audio works. But anyway, just ask.
Okay. Yep. If you guys are having issues hearing or there's cutting it out, please, Avery is paying attention and trying to make sure that everyone can hear. I'm going to keep going. I want to talk about transaction fees. So a lot of you guys may be using PayPal or other tools like a Cheddar Up or something like that. One of the reasons MemberHub is free is because we want every single PTA to use it, right? We know that some PTAs can afford a tool like MemberHub and some can't. In fact, before we do these state partnerships, PTAs were coming out of pocket paying for MemberHub. The way we're able to bring you MemberHub for free is through transaction fees and through sponsorship. Okay, so what are our fees, right? Our fees are flat, 3.5% plus 50 cents across everything, right, per transaction, right? So you guys are used to seeing some convenience fees. Keep in mind a couple things. One, this is a very competitive rate to what most people are seeing in the marketplace. Two, Heartland School Solutions, our partner, is getting part of that, and we're getting part of that. Okay, so these transaction fees, we want to be really transparent about that and how that works, are crucial to allowing us to continue to provide MemberHub for free. And here's the thing to note is that most of you guys are used to eating those fees yourself. MemberHub is designed from the get-go to pass the fees on to the end user. So in other words, let's take an example. If someone pays the local dues of $10, the parent's going to actually pay $1.85. In other words, the parent are going to pay is going to pay the 85 cents, not you. So the local unit will receive $4.50. The Michigan PTA will receive automatically $5.50. We get 29 cents. Heartland gets 56. And then say a festival ticket, again, $10, a $10 ticket, $10.85. A local PTA receives the 10, MemberHub 29 cents, Heartland receives 56. So the fees are passed on. You, the PTA, you get to keep the money. And guys, one of the things to point out about this, the way that we do payments in MemberHub is that Heartland is personally underwriting you guys. So this is perfect. Why Heartland? One of the reasons why Heartland personally underwrites the PTA, Heartland's underwriting the PTA, not you personally. So some of you guys are used to putting your Social Security, on a number into the system, and well, gosh, what happens when I'm gone from the PTA? I'm not going to be a volunteer next year. You won't have to worry about that. You're actually getting underwritten. The PTA itself, the 501(c) is getting underwritten by Heartland. But the other reason we're partnering with Heartland is because they're owned by the Global Payments, the second largest credit card processor in the world. They have dynamite platforms that you're already used to using. Many districts across the country uses their My School Bucks payments feature for like school lunches, things like that. And then they also have in-person payments for with card swipers and iPad apps and cash registers. So like we are working towards a longer term vision where we are completely integrated with My School Bucks. Right now, it's a little bit separate, but I mean, think about in-person payments, school stores, accessing your lunch money through MemberHub, all these things. We're working every day to have tighter and tighter integrations with Heartland, and they're a crucial partner to making all this magical stuff with the dues and the routing and all that stuff to happen. So we're real excited to be working with Heartland. Okay, sponsorship. What is sponsorship? This is a term that we have come up with. It is a fundraising platform for you guys. You may have noticed inside MemberHub, little message here, little sponsor ad here, and then down here we had one. There's an Amazon one showing up here. There's also, it can show up in your emails too. Here's the deal. We're working through the details of this right now, but there's going to be 10 sponsor spots for your school every year. They cost $500, and these messages are basically going to rotate in your emails and your web. Okay, and we share all that revenue. And here's the deal: if you guys sell sponsors, then you make more money, and if you don't want to sell sponsors, then you'll still make money. We're still going to share. We revenue share back all the sponsor revenue with you guys. So you're going to see those messages in your MemberHub site and in emails, but it's a fundraising component. So the best sponsors are your sponsors. If you have sponsors already, we're gonna have some information that we're gonna be sending out and how to work with them and how to get them into your MemberHub site. It should be a really intriguing thing for them. It's going to give them a whole lot more visibility rather than just putting that sign, at the basketball court or, on some T-shirt that a kid's going to wear for 2 days. So this is going to be a tremendous fundraising platform for you guys. And this isn't exactly what it looks like. Well, we've been updating this, but I just wanted to give you an idea. This was an email that was sent out, an example email, and Capital Area Soccer League is a local uh, soccer club, and they wanted to try to reach more parents, right? I mean, in our local community. So they did a little test with us. They put it in 3 MemberHub schools here in the Raleigh area. Their enrollment went up 100% from that exact same time a year ago. So this is a win-win-win. What I mean, it allows us to bring you MemberHub for free. You guys make some money. Your sponsors get visibility, and everybody's happy. So that's the whole idea behind the sponsorship platform, and more information on that will definitely be coming your way soon. So what's next? I know we flew through this, guys, and there's going to be a lot more information coming. This was really an idea. The 30 minutes here was really just designed to kind of kickstart the partnership, to explain all this stuff, to kind of whet your appetite. But you guys, in the coming weeks, first of all, we're gonna import all of the members. Hold on, back up. We're gonna create a MemberHub site for every Michigan PTA unit. We're gonna import members and officers. And then when that's ready, you're going to get an email with instructions on how to get started. So be on the lookout for that. The Michigan PTA and MemberHub is going to be communicating about the specifics of that timeline. Your members and your officers will be in your site. And then at that point, there'll be this getting started tab inside of MemberHub, and you'll be able to like go through this, like 1, do this, 2, do this, 3, do this. And there's getting started guides and walkthroughs there. And then the whole idea is to set up that site joins page and your submit your merchant processing agreement, some of those key crucial steps. But we're going to be doing a lot more of these webinars. So we're going to break apart webinars, like training webinars for you guys. And the idea is going to be like, we're going to do one for like, membership, like how do we do all our members in here and manage this PTA tab and add members, and how do we set up our dues? And then we'll do another one for like, communications, like how do we do our newsletters through this thing, and what is this signups feature, right? And maybe another one for payments, like what is payment requests and how's it different than dues? So we're gonna be splitting out those webinars into different chunks, and then we're gonna record all of them and make them available on our YouTube channel so that you and your other officers can come through the YouTube channel and actually watch those at your leisure. And then the other big thing, and this is sort of the last point of today, which is that support.memberhub.com. If you write down anything, write down that. If you go there right now, you'll see a slew of help articles. There is a link at the top to submit a request. That starts a new support ticket. This is the same system we'll use to do live chat with you guys down the road. We answer a lot of questions in there, and we do all of our support tickets through there. But this is going to be where you're going to begin to interact with us. And I would just say, do not go to MemberHub. There's buttons on the MemberHub.com site to create a new like MemberHub site and create a trial. Do not do that. I mean, explore the website, but don't create a new trial. You're going to get your own MemberHub site. We're gonna get you up and running. So don't worry about that. But kick the tire. I mean, go read some of those help articles, watch some of the videos. You can learn some of the stuff that we did for North Carolina PTA there too. And yeah, I think that's it. So let's